Hey everyone, we come with a bit of an unusual question today. How many games do you have on your Steam wishlist? Are you wishlisting any games that catch your eye, or are you more selective about what you add there? Are you more like Matt, the writer of today's video, with 370 games on his Steam wishlist, or more like me, who has literally 16 of them? There's no wrong way to use your Steam wishlist, but maybe there are some ways Valve could actually make it better. So let's look at what Steam wishlists are used for, how developers benefit from them, and how maybe Valve could improve them. We might have some suggestions, but here's what Matt and actual players online have to say about it through my voice. Let's begin. Steam's wishlist feature has been around for a long time. It was launched in 2010, and since then, improvements have been pretty slow. Eventually, an Add to Cart button was added to any purchasable wishlist titles to make it easier for users to buy games they're interested in. You can now also filter by categories such as release date, discount, and review score. But what it has always been is a great way to keep track of games that interest you, particularly those that haven't been released yet or are waiting to go on sale. But before getting too deep into how that works, it's important to discuss why wishlists are important for developers as well. I watch a lot of game showcases. I particularly love tuning into indie presentations like the III showcase or the Day of the Devs. With showcases like this, I don't usually bother reading the live chat, but a common complaint from users about indie showcases is that every other game seems to be a roguelike. Sometimes, yes, I agree, but as a fan of roguelikes, it's like an all-you-can-eat buffet. So for me, the issue might not be about roguelikes, but there's something more that is even more common for games these days. Nearly every game trailer ends with a request for you to add the game to your Steam wishlist. Why do they do this? Because Steam's wishlist is one of the best marketing tools any video game creator could ask for. For example, Steam wishlists are a great way to gauge general excitement about a game. Hollow Knight Silksong was a great indicator of this, as it reigned supreme at the top of Steam's most wishlisted chart for a long time. But obviously, reaching the top spots on the chart is not easy. However, there is something a wishlist does automatically that makes every game developer's life easier. You actually may see the benefit I'm talking about in your email inbox every once in a while. If a game is on a user's wishlist, Steam will send an email when it's released or goes on sale. Chances are, whenever you get one of those emails, you might take a look, because why wouldn't you? This is great news. A game you showed interest in is available at a discount, or is simply available, finally, because it has a release. These notifications are the times I most often buy a game on Steam, and I would guess it might be similar for you too. Just today, as I was writing this, I got an email that Dinoblade, a rad-looking action game where dinosaurs fight with swords in their mouths, has a free demo available. Obviously, I immediately downloaded it, otherwise I could easily have missed that. These massive email blasts are the kind of thing that would take a lot of preparation, organization, and coordination if it weren't for Steam doing so much of the heavy lifting. All a user has to do is click Add to my wishlist, and they are automatically added to a mailing list for that game. This is the big reason why every indie developer asks you to add the game to your wishlist. Plus, if a game ends up getting a large number of wishlists, it can also help that team secure other forms of funding and marketing opportunities. This is also why you don't see these marketing beats from games with huge budgets or from big publishers. Those games are targeting a much larger audience across multiple platforms. This is why, despite how immensely popular they are, you will never see franchises like Call of Duty, EA Sports, or Assassin's Creed topping the Steam wishlist chart. Steam may be the largest video game platform on PC, but people like us, PC gamers who really take advantage of the wishlist feature, are much more on the niche enthusiast side of the video game audience than the casual side. It's that enthusiasm that many developers want to capture. They want to say to you, hey, check out my game, you already showed interest, and now there's a reason to be even more interested. As I was pondering this topic and looking into what kinds of improvements Steam users would want, Steam added a huge new feature to wishlists. Well, okay, it's not exactly a thing for wishlists, but now Steam has a feature called your personal calendar. Open that up and it will show you which games on your wishlist have just been released and which have release dates coming up. When your Steam wishlist starts to get into a couple of hundreds, it's easy for releases to start falling through the cracks. So this is a great new tool that will help users avoid missing out on games they are interested in. The biggest problem with Steam wishlists is that the more games you add, the harder it is to give them any semblance of organization. For example, let's look at my personal wishlist. I am constantly discovering exciting new indie games, which is why I have 370 games on my wishlist at the time of writing. On one hand, this is great because I'll never run out of exciting games to play, but it's also daunting to even start looking through it sometimes. The wishlist has a great feature that lets you drag and drop or type in a custom numbered order for your games. This is called your rank because the idea is to put them in order from most interesting to least interesting, or whatever other order you want to come up with. But with a wishlist as long as mine, it would take hours to actually sort through and rank everything. Fortunately, thanks to Reddit, I know I am not alone in this struggle. Plenty of other users with far too long wishlists have pitched ideas on how to improve them. This whole idea for this topic was sparked when I came across a Reddit post referencing an article from Game Discover Co. studying the conversion rate from wishlists to sales. The article was more about the kinds of patterns in Steam game sales, how certain genres have a higher wishlist to sale rate, with NSFW games being an outlier in that category, which is a whole other topic to get into another time. But in the comments of this Reddit post, users started discussing their gripes and hopes for the future of Steam's wishlist. A couple of great ideas stood out immediately. Imagine if you could sort your Steam wishlist by genre. This likely wouldn't be that difficult, considering Steam already has a tagging system for genres and descriptions. Whenever there's a fest on Steam, like Creature Collector Fest or Strategy Games Fest, the event page has a banner for all your wishlisted games taking part in that fest. Why not let users organize their wishlists using the same system? Another user mentioned demos. October's Steam Next Fest may be fading out of memory, but every time it happens, my wishlist grows significantly. If you could filter your wishlist by which games have demos, users could immediately see which games that they've already shown interest in now have a playable free demo that they can try. It could be a great way to promote these demos, which can now also earn review scores, and push more people towards making a purchase. One other idea came up in this Reddit thread that might be worth considering. People discussed the idea of multiple wishlists. It's not uncommon for people to wishlist games for varying reasons. Some wishlist a game to see when it's going to release. Others wishlist to see if it has a big enough sale for them to buy it, and others might even just wishlist the game to keep track of it and see if it gets any significant updates, leaving early access, or whether it releases a demo. It's not a bad idea. When you wishlist a game, you could have a quick drop-down menu to choose which list it belongs to. Or maybe if you could just create custom lists as an addition to the general one, the default one. However, I don't think Valve will ever implement this one. Part of the value of Steam's wishlist feature is its simplicity. The less involvement from the consumer, the better. Just click once and you're done. There are thousands of gamers out there who, if they click add to my wishlist and get a secondary prompt, may just move on. Perhaps this could be an optional feature that players can choose to opt into, but I wouldn't hold my breath. However, there is one thing I think could make this work. In your Steam library, you can make collections. You can drag and drop your games into custom categories. I often use this feature to create a place to put games from my backlog, or especially at this point in the year, start gathering the Steam games I might consider some of my favorites for Game of the Year. As a completely optional feature, Steam could introduce this to wishlists. It would still require significant user effort, but perhaps it could be a compromise. You may not be able to have multiple lists to avoid overcomplicating the tool's usefulness, but if you wanted to, you could add your own level of complexity, so that, Valve could just give us the tools, and whether we want to use them would be completely up to us. They don't take away the simplicity of the already existing solution, and you just add optional depth to it. If Steam wanted to go the extra mile on this, they could offer pre-made collections, such as, if this game ever goes on sale below 50%, notify me. Or, when this game leaves early access, let me know. Or if this game ever has a demo, let me know. But that does feel tad too complicated for Steam to get involved in. Who knows. Ultimately, updates to Steam wishlists will be slow, if they ever happen. Steam works quite well as is, and Valve isn't exactly fighting off competitors with a stick or really trying to make ends meet. Now we should cut to Gabe Newell's yacht, where he's probably playing an early prototype of Half-Life 3. Hi, Gabe. Or, maybe I'm making a problem out of nothing. Maybe actually the number of people who really have this problem is so small that it's not even worth addressing. But just when I was thinking these same thoughts, Steam released your personal calendar. And let's be honest, helping people make better use of their wishlists will help them find, keep track of, and buy more of the games they want, and that makes Valve money, so that's always a good enough reason for them to introduce some improvements. right? You know what? One more benefit of having custom wish lists, or basically lists of games, would be the option to share those lists publicly with others. I know you can set your profile to public and then everyone can see them, but maybe you don't want to show everyone that apart from Exodus, The Witcher 4, and Half-Life 3, you're also actually waiting for a sequel to Genital Jousting or Steamy Dungeon of Love 4, and maybe you'd like to keep these things separate. Then Steam creators could use these custom lists to show some recommendations of their own, maybe content creators could use them to promote the games they're talking about and some additional similar games, or a regular gamer who wants to just share something they would like to play in the future with a group of friends could use that feature as well. But that's just me talking. What about you? How do you utilize Steam's wishlist feature? And most of all, what kind of changes and improvements would you like to see in wishlists? Thank you, Matt, for writing today's video. Thank you for watching, and take care, everyone.